Okay, all right. So you said that you're confused, and we played with that a bit. That in fact,
Yeah,
that's one of the primary feelings, and we'll get into it, and will understand that particular part of the teaching because you're very good at it.
okay. So
So
it's
tell me about it.
yeah, so I'll tell you about the confusion. Um, yeah, there's a lot to tell, huh? Like, well, yeah, I don't know where to begin, honestly. Like, should I tell you the whole history of my, like, kind of like a synopsis of my life, or should I
Oh,
just?
okay, a short synopsis, but um, let's do it within the past, say, 2 years.
2 years. Okay, that's not a
Yeah,
lot.
the past 2 years.
Okay, so I kind of started meditating 3 years ago.
All
Um,
right.
but because of a breakup, I think, and just life situations. And I got really gripped by it. And I
Gripped by
think
what?
meditation and Buddhism, I mean, it's all I've basically been reading about and doing, and it's just, and yeah, it's intensified and intensified, and I mean, yeah, it just takes me,
Okay,
and
so
I'm kind of
what I
addicted by
pick
it.
up, what I pick up from you is that you're trying to balance yourself on the two legs of a three-legged stool,
Okay.
and you keep falling over.
Yeah.
Okay, the three legs of the three-legged stool are the Buddha, the Dhamma, and the Sangha, and
Okay.
you don't have a Sangha yet.
Well, there is a Sangha. I go to the Zen Sangha here, the local Zen group, and it's kind of great actually. The teacher is nice, and his wife also started teaching recently. Um, but I do kind of like there's no one like I do kind of miss like I feel quite lonely sometimes because
You
I
feel
do
what?
quite lonely
Okay.
at times. Yeah, because it's just I've been so gripped by the, and there's not a lot of people that I can really talk to or that have the same kind of passion, I guess. There's one. There's one that I talk to frequently, um, but still.
So you're singing the song Hi Diddly Dee, Zen is not for me.
Well, I'm not sure. I mean, my heart's really in the place, huh? And I love the group. I love the teacher. Huh? It's I but
Well, now all of a sudden you love them. Before you didn't fit in and you didn't know anybody and you felt lonely. So
wait, say that again. I didn't catch that.
I said yes. And before that, you said you didn't fit in, you didn't know anybody, and you felt lonely. And now you're saying that you're fitting in and all. So look at how you changed right there.
Yeah.
That maybe perhaps you thought the first thing you said was not good enough, and so you had to kind of fix it up.
Yeah.
Okay. So anyway, back to the confusion.
Yeah, the confusion is like I think I've decided for now to stay lay,
The what?
to stay as a lay person, to not go.
To stay as a, okay. There's no such thing as lay people in Buddhism. That's Catholicism. Within Buddhism, they make the distinction between noble, and Putajana, which
Okay.
means same as the Bami Putra, the sons of the soil, ordinary people.
Okay. Didn't know that. Yeah.
Which is not the same kind of distinction as those who were in the robes and those who were not. Because there's many who were not in the robes who were noble. And there are a few in the robes who are not. Quite a few.
Probably. Okay. So
Anyway, you've made that decision. But where's the confusion now?
yeah, so the confusion is
Big.
I've put a lot of effort into being a programmer, like a software developer. And
What language?
now I'm doing a new language, Dart. It's for mobile applications. It's a new framework that Google made.
Is that on Android based?
Sorry?
Linux based? Is that Android based?
It's for both platforms, so it's cross-platform. So you write once and you export it to. You used to be an engineer as well, right?
Yeah, long
Yeah,
time ago.
a long time ago.
Actually, no. My life is still that of an engineer.
Explain.
One of the major points of a, let us say, construction or structural engineer is to make sure that things don't fall over, which means he's constantly aware of gravity and how it affects everything. Okay, that I just gave you is pure Dhamma. Let us all become structural engineers so that things don't fall over. Let's keep things sitting upright so that they're not under stress and tend to wean or have an attitude. Okay, because things are going to fall over. And the more their gravity is pulling on something from some direction or another, the more likely it is to fall over. So if we have an upright attitude, things don't fall over so easily.
Is this also like an analogy to the three-legged stool?
Like a three-legged stool, precisely. When you've got the three legs and you have some stability.
Yeah.
Three-legged stool with only two legs in it winds up being inherently unstable, not only because of the legs themselves and the fact that you've got three that are, two of them are now at a particular kind of an angle, but then so is the chair. And the human butt is used to having a flat or level surface to sit on. We don't like to sit on the hill, so we don't know how to do it. So it's right off onto the floor. And then
Okay.
we wonder how we got that way. But that's the confusion.
Well,
So become an engineer. Keep things upright and balanced so that things don't fall over like a skyscraper in a high wind.
yeah, I'm trying to. Huh?
Pardon?
I'm trying to.
Oh, words of a failure. We use the word try in two ways, one very seldomly and the other one commonly, as an excuse for failure because we come out of the position of being a victim. I can't do it, Mommy, but look how hard I tried. So give me mercy and let me have a free pass. This is the magical thinking of humans, is that they can continue to fail and get the prize anyway. So we have to change our attitude from I'm failing or I'm trying into I can do it. I got that. I understand. And I got it. Okay. So how can we move you out of confusion, victimhood, falling over, not standing up straight, into joy, humor, got it wired mentality, so that you can go around joyfully and spread that joy all over the place?
Yeah. So my main confusion is around livelihood. Like in the beginning of this year, I was meditating a lot, and I felt I think my worldly desires kind of fade. Like I used to be quite driven, and I wanted to I wanted to make my own application, and I've put a lot of effort into that. But then that drive just kind of fell through meditation, and I wanted to balance it. Like I went to meetings, I went to like meetups, and to try and like revive my drive. But then all I could see was like I don't know, like greedy people.
I got this. You want to be driven. You want your mojo back, and meetups will give it to you. Okay, I got that. That's
No,
the
no, no, no,
victim's
no.
attitude. Go ahead.
Well, so yeah. Then I wanted to balance it out again. Yeah, like you said, I wanted my mojo back. But then and then all I could see was kind of like greed and maybe struggling to get some fame and some recognition, and it didn't do it for me, and now I'm very like dispassionate
Okay.
about.
So what you're telling me then, basically, without let us say explaining it too much right now, you've become tired of human society in the world because you see that it did not fulfill and never will what it has offered you all your life. In other words, you're waking up to the lies that you've been told,
Yeah.
that the job is not fulfilling. But look how many people are in that job saying, look how hard I try, Daddy. The daddy's in their head.
So that's also where the confusion comes in. Like there are there's degrees of like for instance, when I'm in a job and it's right on my skill level and I'm challenged, um, um, and it's interesting work, then I'm motivated, I'm happy. But when it gets when it gets to like a routine, or it gets I don't learn as
Wait a
much.
minute. When it gets like means that your attitude inside your own mind has changed.
Yeah.
So sometimes your attitude is this, and sometimes your attitude is that. And you're still kind of blaming the work itself on how you feel, giving you the control of your feelings away. That you could feel hot diggity dog no matter what the job is. You've got good control of your mind.
Fuck.
Not only that, but when wisdom comes in, you stop doing a whole lot of those jobs that are not prone to give you hot diggity dogs. And start going and spending your time where you can find a whole lot of hot diggity dogs.
So wait, what do you mean by hot diggity dogs again?
I didn't define it. I'm leaving that up to you. But it's something that you're looking for that you're not having, and you're looking for a way of spending your time more appropriately so that you can have more of that.
Yes.
And in fact, you ain't got enough of it.
I guess.
So the confusion is, how do I go get some?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, guess what? Welcome to the human mind.
Yeah, see, but like,
We are all dissatisfied and we are all looking for something. And what you're doing is that you're putting down a whole lot of shining objects because there's no more shiny objects out there that you can recognize that are any value to even go and inspect. And that's a major turning point in one's life. When you recognize that the playpen that you're in is no longer worthy of the kind of things you want to play with. Some of them are downright dangerous and unwholesome. And so it's better to get us out. In fact, what I'm really talking about again is Sangha, is to getting away from ordinary people and getting around people who are worthy being around.
yeah, I know, but this is where the whole confusion comes in. But then I decided to stay here, but then I got to find a livelihood, and
What? You
then
said what?
then I have to find a livelihood
Why?
because I need to make money.
Why?
Because I want to survive.
Then take the next breath.
Well, but
Because that's all you need to survive right now.
yeah, right now.
Right now.
But it won't be in a year's
And
time.
there's a whole lot of right nows that you're missing because you're worried about the future that doesn't exist.
That's true.
Yeah.
But
You're worried about right livelihood when in fact the Buddha teaches about the four requisites. We only need just enough food, just enough housing, just enough clothing, and just enough medical attention. Just enough. Bare basics. Gurdjieff in the 1920s proved that 20 people could live off of a waiter's salary.
yeah, I know. But I'm already living quite frugally.
We do that at the Watt daily.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, it's not quite as easy as that, because you hang around with people and they're used to a certain standard and they want to do stuff, and it's hard because you can't like always say no. I can't join. I have no money. I don't want this. Or it's like it's different.
If you live in a bar, you'll become an alcoholic. Okay. If you live in a church, you'll become a Christian.
I actually live in a church.
Okay. We become that which we associate with. And now you're talking to me about associating with people that actually you wouldn't really, if you thought about it, want to be associating with those people who look down upon you and think that you don't have enough money to hang out with them.
No, it's not like that. Like the people are nice, and I want to associate with them, but
Why? What I don't understand where you're coming from. Is this because you just simply don't have anything more or better? It's just that you're associating with the people because you've become in the habit of associating with these people or associating with those kind of people.
Yeah.
Okay.
So what are you saying? Are you saying like extract yourself if you want something else?
Well, I'm saying there's a two-step process, and that the two-step process sometimes is mixed. And sometimes one happens and then the other, and sometimes it's the other way around. But these are the two qualities that happen. One is that we start associating with nobles. And number two, we start associating with noble. Actually, that's backwards. First is you begin to associate in our own mind with noble. And then we start looking for other people to hang around with who are noble. Free from suffering. At least when they remember to.
Okay.
And so they can help you remind yourself of remaining noble and vice versa. But you really have to go off into seclusion and practice getting your mind into a noble state, which you haven't done yet with all the meditation practice that you've done. What you've done is, let us say, removed quite a number of things that you've run across. But you still haven't gotten down to the point about the attitude of the mind being that of a victim, trying, etc., like that. This is what we need to start working on with Anapanasati, is to start to make some changes to that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And that's why I've been listening so carefully to what you've said, is to give you the example that you can start clearly listening to what you yourself are saying or thinking. You can recognize that some of it is just not wholesome. The word try, for instance, you can throw that one right out.
Yeah.
I saw you scratch it right out.
Sorry?
I was hearing the scratching sounds and seeing your hand motion and recognizing that you just scratched it out.
No, I didn't. I underlined it.
Oh.
No, I underlined it. Yeah. Well,
Okay.
it's true, but and I just came from a 6-week kind of retreat.
Okay.
And
That was another question that I should have asked you earlier. How many retreats have you done?
well, I think 3 in a short period of time. Well, 3 this year, and then last year I did a solo retreat. That was, yeah, I think in total like 5 retreats maybe.
Good. Well, you're lucky to run across the noble Dhamma faster than I did. I spent 10 years practicing with Goenka and all kinds of places, doing all kinds of weird stuff. So, what do they teach at these retreats? I assume that the 5 retreats or so that you've done are within what would call a method or a frame of reference, or got some Asian name attached to it.
Well, not really, actually. Yeah, because I mean, yeah, because they were, well, except for the last one, they didn't give much guidance. And now in the last one, it was a Zen retreat, and yeah, every
You
weekday.
don't need much guidance. Zen gets right down to the point.
Yeah,
And you gotta listen to them. Zazen means just sitting.
yeah,
Just sit there.
yeah,
Like you were just tired from a job and you wanted to catch your breath for the next 40 years. And you just sit there and enjoy it.
yeah.
Right? That's all there is to it. But you don't know how to do it.
Yeah, the pervasive thing, and like I had 6 weeks, and like I got to new states of calm, but there was one underlying current that I just couldn't break. It was like, yeah, the becoming. Like, what do I do? What am I gonna do in the future? What should I? You know the one, right?
Uh-huh.
Like,
Yes. And you didn't get the right instructions of throwing those thoughts out. They're unwholesome, unbecoming.
but
That
it's
you don't need for the future.
how can you throw that one
Think of
out?
thoughts. When you think of thoughts of the future, you throw them out with the confidence that whenever the future does bring something new, you can handle it quite well. You're the champion here.
Okay,
You're the imp.
but see right now,
You don't have to plan.
I don't have any income.
You don't have what?
Income.
Oh, well, that means you're free. Congratulations. That's a beautiful state to be in.
Yeah, it is.
And if you're associating with people who are like that, you'll just be fine. And if you associate with people who still got money and want you to have some, you'll be miserable.
Hmm.
And then you'll long for and hope to get a job, and now you're right back into the soup. So you could take an opportunity, take a hike.
Yeah. But see, is that also becoming? That's also thinking about options and deciding what to do. And
It depends on how far into the future you're looking. Let us say it this way. This is one of the things that I learned from a really, really good friend who spent too much time in the hospital and too much time in jail. Just a little of both. And his name, by the way, was Randy. And Randy taught me several things about motorcycles. And one of them is that the further ahead you can see, the faster you can go. And if you can't see where you're going, don't go there too fast. Watch where you're going. And I didn't recognize how pure Dhamma that was. 2 years later, I just thought that it was the way to drive motorcycles. I don't get behind trucks and stay too close. That's a really stupid thing to do, is to go 60 miles an hour when you can't see more than about 15 feet in front of you. That truck that you're following too close.
hmm.
And
So
yet we
yeah,
often live our lives like that. But meanwhile, the whole point is that we cannot see the future very well. We can only see it just so far.
well,
And you're planning way off into the future when in fact all you need to do is just plan your next plane ticket.
so wait, you're saying don't think too far ahead.
Yeah, don't think too far in advance. The Buddha, that's the teachings of the Buddha. That's what the Zazen is teaching. It's just sit there. Don't plan off into the future.
Hmm.
It'll make yourself miserable. Give you all kinds of worries about what didn't happen when you thought it should. Instead of just having a ball when it does happen all by itself without your help.
Yeah, but it's there's a
So
huge
in a
amount of
way, what
fear.
we're talking about is that the doubt actually covers up something a little bit deeper, and that is fear.
Yeah, there's a lot of fear. Like I feel it, and and every day it's
Okay.
like I wake up and I have to calm the fear. I have to be with the fear and let it pass. And
Well, then you're not following the teaching of the Buddha. That sounds like Mahasi or something.
so explain the Buddha's teaching.
The Buddha would say that before you actually feel the fear, recognize the thoughts that are bringing on the fear. That you thought of something fearful and then you had the fear. You didn't have the fear first. That the mind and the fear of the feelings and the body work together, and the mind is the
Okay.
forerunner. Now, if you do feel afraid, find out that you are afraid, and then immediately start having thoughts that are going to calm that fear. And pretty soon you'll be able to get fast enough to where you can see the actual thoughts that cause the fear, and you can put a stop to it before it starts. This is anapanasati. And you have to be able to see those unwholesome thoughts. And the kind of thoughts that I'm talking about are the kind of thoughts of where the mind leans or your attitude. These are not talking about discursive thoughts. Talking about the direct ones. They don't last very long, but boy, that they can turn that beer bucket machine on very quickly.
Yeah.
Okay. So having a basic thought about, oh, what if? What ifism? What aboutism? People just terrify themselves with those kinds of thoughts. And Zazen teaches, no, just sit. Just sit. Don't think about all of those things. It could terrify you. When you learn that you can change your thoughts and you can change the way that you feel, then how would you feel? Would you feel safe and secure? Would you feel comfortable?
Yeah.
Could you feel satisfied with the moment? Everything is okay the way that it is.
Yes.
Well, how about feeling successful? Like I've got this wired. I do know how to make myself happy and successful and safe and secure and comfortable and satisfied. I know how to do that. You start having that attitude rather than the attitude of, oh shit.
Yeah.
Now, guess what? What we are actually doing is taking the back door into the Eightfold Noble Path. This is the Eightfold Noble Path we're talking about. This is Anapanasati we're talking about. This is a teaching of the Buddha. Is to wake up, take a look at what you're doing in your mind, and then make a change. And then congratulate yourself for the change. That is it. That is one's right effort to make a change. Sati, to wake up, to really wake up, to really look at what you're doing. To really look at what you're doing is Anapanasati step number 9. Of examining the mind, examining the state of mind as well as the content of the mind. And I'm asking you to start examining the state of mind that you're in. It doesn't hardly take any mind moments at all. And here you've been meditating all of this time, and nobody ever taught you about the Eightfold Noble Path.
Well, I mean, just sit, right? No.
Just sit. Well, that's because they're just short circuiting all the little steps. And here you are not taking the step of learning to just sit and be satisfied. Got to talk yourself into sitting and being satisfied. Hey, I don't have to think about the future right now. I can just be happy and safe and secure and comfortable right now where I am, whether that's on a park bench in Belgium or on the Thames or in the yard here. Doesn't matter where you are. What matters is that you can enjoy where you are, rather than wanting to go someplace to get someplace. And so this is one's right livelihood. There's no livelihood at all. Now that's the right livelihood.
What do you mean with? What do you mean with no livelihood at all? You mean
well, your lifestyle winds up being quite. I mean, you do know at the bottom of it, and because Zen is really, really pounding on it hard, much more than the Theravadas do. But there are the sutras there that really make it important about Suññata or Suññata. The answer is down at the bottom of it all, there ain't nothing. There ain't nothing there. You made it all up. And you go around in the company that make it up the same way that you were making it up, and there's really nothing to it.
Wait, say that last part again?
There's just really nothing to it.
No, before that, with the company?
I said that you've made it all up, and you associate with other people who have made it all up, and nobody knows that they've made it all up. And at the bottom of all that making up, there's nothing to it.
Exactly, yeah.
Nothing there. So why not just sit and enjoy it? You have to remember to do that because you're so much in the habit of, oh, what if?
Yeah.
So now you can begin to see those what if thoughts and recognize that they terrify you, which keeps you confused.
Exactly, yeah. But see, that's the thing what I'm struggling with. Like I get those teachings, but isn't it like it's always like a two-way interaction between me and the world, right?
Actually, no, the interaction is between the superego and the id, if you want to speak in Freudian terms.
The superego and the?
And the id.
The
or
id.
the way that Eric Berne would describe it is a dialogue between the superego or the parent ego state and the child ego state, which is the way that things were when we were children. The big people were the adults. Actually, they weren't adults. They were parents. There was no adult in the room. That's the whole problem with child raising. There's no adults in the room. They're all either parents or children. And we grow up that way, and we continue to think that way. And what the whole teaching of the Buddha is to bring the adult into the room, to wake up and look at this dialogue that we have inside that makes us feel bad. And it normally is in the fact of setting standards. You're supposed to meet this standard. And then the child reacts to that new rule. That's just an old rule that's just been newly applied. Like you gotta work to eat is a parent ego state. It's not the world that's telling you that. It's something that's happening within your own mind. And so after you say that, then the child begins to feel bad. Oh no, poor me, what am I going to do? And that dialogue keeps going. And guess what? The language that the child speaks is the language of emotion. The language that the parent speaks is chatter, verbiage, monologue. And the way that the adult communicates is by direct seeing. So we have to stop with our dialogues, stop with our thought processes, start recognizing that we terrify ourselves with all of those rules and standards. By the way, in the Pali, that is silabhata paramasa, adherence to rights, rules, and whatnot. And it's one of the primary fetters. We have to get over that. It's one of the early things that we have to do, along with fetter number 3, doubt. We have to come out of the doubt. We have to come to the point of being so confident that the Eightfold Noble Path works that you can handle anything. So it's all about a matter of changing one's attitude, one thought at a time, over and over and over and over again. And every time that you see that that thought is unwholesome because it's setting some standard that you feel bad about, then chuck that thought out. Another way of talking about it is that all of those thoughts are critical thoughts. We have critical parents going around fussing, no, you got to do it this way, you got to do it that way. And the child feels bad about all of that. But the parent can make a change, and that is the original parent was nurturing. A young, tender infant gets nurturing. Doesn't matter where he poops. Parents will take care of it. By the time he's 16, if he poops on the rug in the living room, they'll become critical. But his first bowel movement, they're all hunky-dory with that. They celebrate it. Sometimes they'll bronze it. First turd. So what we need to do is to go back to that early stage in life where we felt nourished and taken care of, rather than feeling criticized and not up to standards. And we can intentionally practice that now that I'm mentioning it to you, is to remember to nurture yourself. You're okay. Yeah, you're out of work. Isn't that marvelous? Wow, you go any place you want to go and do anything you want to do.
Well, but see, there's still the question of money, right?
No, that's your question. Throw that question out for a while.
Yeah, but like last year, I was in the same situation.
Well, see, nothing has happened. Nothing's changed. Everything's the way that it was, except that you've been miserable for the year. What's going to happen a year from now is the same thing, and you're back where you were, except that now you can feel marvelous the whole year. Up to you.
But you have to have a certain amount of basic.
You're still thinking about stuff that's way off in the future, instead of getting a load of what the Buddha's teaching. We can deal with that kind of stuff later. You need to learn how to deal with the now, because you've been dealing with the later and you haven't gotten anywhere with that. So we'll deal with the later when we figure out how to deal with now.
Yeah, but that's the thing. I'm like, I know what I'm doing right now is that I'm thinking about the future again. But if I run out,
let me ask you this: where are you going to sleep tonight?
In my room.
Okay, then that's all you need, is where you're going to sleep tonight.
Yeah.
And let tomorrow night take care of itself tomorrow. You only need to worry about where you're going to sleep tonight.
Okay.
So get used to being in the here now and stop worrying about the long distant future. Just take care of what's happening right now, which means get your mind into a very, very happy, noble state.
Okay.
Forget about the future.
Okay.
Learn some Zen already. Just a bit.
All right. Yeah, I think I can do that.
Okay. So now while you're doing what you call meditation, you can stop doing that and stop doing everything else. Just sit there and enjoy.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Stop all the future thoughts. Stop all the past thoughts. Just say, right now, I can just sit here
Okay.
and enjoy it. Okay. And while you're sitting there in the here now, you'll recognize there's a whole lot of stuff happening. There's some meditation teachers recommend keeping the eyes closed. Others recommend let them stay open for a while until they want to close. The real reality is that, hey, your eyes are needed here. You need to start looking at what's going on. It's part of being in the here now. Is using your eyes rather than magical eyes in the brain. You've heard all of this stories about a third eye. Close that damn thing and open the real ones. Let's not have thoughts and visions of the future. Let's have real eyeball contact with the reality that you live in. Come into the senses that we are in now. Start paying attention to the breathing. Recognize the body. Start recognizing that fear that kind of leaks in so that you can catch the thoughts that started those feelings. And then you can come back and say, I don't have to worry about that right now. I just sit here and just enjoy the fact that I can clean my mind. Thought by thought, feeling by feeling. This is what sati is all about, is remember to look.
Okay.
Look closely now, pay attention. And then take the right effort to change it right then and there. Most Westerners have the idea when they hear that the actual teachings of the Buddha is nothing but dukkha, dukkha, nirodha. What they hear in their heads because of all the stuff that they've seen around is dukkha, 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 more dukkha. I see that dukkha, but that dukkha is related to this dukkha. Let's go down and look at that and see how much dukkha we can find. Okay? And that's not the teaching of the Buddha. The Buddha is dukkha, dukkha, nirodha. Come out of the dukkha as soon as you see it. Immediately come out.
Okay.
Right into the here now. Learn to control the here now rather than trying to control the distant future, both money-wise and spiritualized.
And what?
Spiritualized.
Okay.
Magical thinking about enlightenment in the distant future. Thoughts about where is Nibbana. In fact, Nibbana is just when you're cool.
It's when you're
Cool. That's what the word means.
Oh,
Chill,
really?
baby, just chill. Stop being so hot about the future and just chill.
Okay.
So be in the here now with the senses. Get in touch with the body. Get in touch with the hair on the arm, in the breeze. Get in touch with the touch of the cloth on the body. Get in touch with the breathing and the rising and falling and the just sitting and the touching that you do. Heard that expression before, I'm sure, rising, falling, touching, sitting. That's something you do in the here now.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is the way to practice, is the practice of coming into the here now, safe, secure, comfortable, satisfied, and successful. Keep practicing that over and over and over again, and you'll begin to start changing your attitude.
Okay.
So let's finish this now and make a plan for the future. When are you going to call?
No, I'm just gonna be here. I'm just gonna be happy.
Okay. Well, give it a couple of days, practice, and then call me again, and we'll continue into it a little more. Let us call it structurally. I've been kind of all over the place today,
Okay.
trying to get your attention.
Okay.
So let me ask you this last question, and that is, are you full of doubt right now?
No, not full.
How about a little bit of enthusiasm? Practice.
Yeah, there is. Yeah.
Right. All right. Well, you take that enthusiasm and play with it like a new toy.
I will.
All right.
Thank you.
Friends, we'll see you later.
Okay. Thanks, Dhammarato. Have a great.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Have a good day. Bye, man.